It so happened that one day Cadmus's sister Europa, who had been out picking flowers with her retinue, spotted a magnificent white bull. Caressing the bull, Europa eventually climbed onto its back, but not before it bolted out into the sea, carrying Europa with it, eventually coming to Crete. Little did Europa know that she had been abducted by Zeus, who had desired Europa and disguised himself as the bull. King Aenor was devastated over her disappearance. He commanded his sons, Phoenix, Cilix, Thasus, and Cadmus, for the task of finding their sister. It was decreed that they were never to return unless they returned with her. None of the brothers would come to find Europa, and so they went on to found cities themselves. Cadmus eventually came to Delphi, seeking to consult the oracle on the whereabouts of his sister. Instead, the priestess of Apollo bade that Cadmus cease his search and go found a city. Cadmus was instructed to look for and follow a cow with the shape of a crescent moon on its hind. Wherever the cow was to lay down was to be the site of Cadmus's new city. Walking for many miles, Cadmus was eventually led to Boeotia, where the cow eventually laid down. It was here that Cadmus would come to found the city of Thebes. Intending to give thanks to the goddess Athena, Cadmus sent his companions to fetch water for a sacrifice. But when they arrived at the sacred spring, they soon found that it was protected by a terrible dragon, a son of Ares, which killed them all. Seeking his companions' whereabouts, Cadmus would come face to face with the dragon. Cadmus fought fiercely against the serpent before he was finally able to slay it. Then, after sacrificing the cow, Athena told Cadmus to take the dragon's teeth and plant them in the ground. But when he did so, a host of fearsome men called the Spartoi suddenly sprang up from the ground and began to violently fight amongst each other. By the end of this, only 5 of the warriors remained. These men helped Cadmus to build his new city. Yet Ares was still outraged over the killing of the dragon and forced Cadmus to perform 8 years of penance, but in the end Cadmus was eventually given Ares' daughter, Harmonia, to marry. Their wedding was witnessed by all the gods, and Cadmus bestowed a necklace crafted by Hephaestus to Harmonia, but this necklace would come to bring misfortune. Cadmus and Harmonia would come to have a son, Polydorus, and 4 daughters, Agave, Autonoe, Ino, and Semele. Semele would eventually come to attract the attention of Zeus and become pregnant with this child, but through the deception of Hera, Zeus unintentionally killed Semele. Zeus took the fetus from Semele and had it sewn up into his thigh. This child would eventually be born as Dionysus. Many years later, Cadmus abdicated in favor of his grandson Pentheus. In the meanwhile, Cadmus's grandson, Dionysus, had been a rising figure in the east, bringing many cities under his worship. Dionysus soon came to Thebes with the intent of initiating the city in his cult, but also to punish. Dionysus was enraged that Pentheus and his aunts had denied not only his divinity, but also the fact that Zeus had impregnated his mother. Dionysus caused the women of Thebes to take part in his wild revelry. Cadmus resolved that he must come to acknowledge the divine nature of his grandson and take part in the worship, despite Pentheus' scorn. But Dionysus caused Pentheus to become mad, and he is later savagely killed by his own mother and the women of Thebes. But Dionysus punishes Cadmus and prophesies his fate. Cadmus and his wife Harmonia are to be turned into snakes, before Cadmus will come to lead an army of barbarians and ravage Greece. Tragically, the misfortune of Pentheus and his family would come to plague the future rulers of Thebes. It is only in their deaths that Cadmus and Harmonia would find peace and eventually be brought to the Isles of the Blessed.